Eu e você no mundo da lua de mel, você e eu voando no sétimo céu. Oi, dê no que dê, a gente não quer mais parar. Aconteceu, eu quero de novo.
Minha vida é andar por esse país pra ver se um dia descanso feliz, guardando as recordações das terras onde passei, andando pelos sertões e dos amigos que lá deixei. Chuva, sol, inverno e verão, longe de casa, sigo o roteiro, mais uma estação. E alegria no coração. Vá! Auê, 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 auê. Minha vida é andar por esse país pra ver se um dia descanso feliz, guardando as recordações das terras onde passei.
Simbora, Zé Bicudo. Fabiano, deixa pra tu. Na minha veia corre sangue sertanejo, digo isso ao mundo inteiro sem ter que me vergonhar. Eu sou da terra de Luiz Lua Gonzaga, este é mais um motivo pra que eu possa me orgulhar. Na minha terra tem o Jacques do pandeiro, tem forró o ano inteiro, tem chachado, tem baião. Sou nordestina com muito amor, sou também pernambucana com muita satisfação. E se alguém vier de outra região pra falar mal de Pernambuco, não fico calada não, não fico calada não, não fico calada não. Falou mal de Pernambuco, não fico calada não, não fico calada não. Falou mal do meu Nordeste, não fico calada não, não fico calada não, não fico calada não. Falou mal do meu Nordeste, não fico calada não, não fico calada não. Falou mal do meu Nordeste, não fico calada não.
Eu não preciso de você, o mundo é grande e o destino me espera. Não é você que vai me dar na primavera as flores lindas que sonhei no meu verão. Eu não preciso de você, já fiz de tudo pra mudar meu endereço, já revirei a minha vida pelo avesso. Juro por Deus, não encontrei você mais não. Cartas na mesa, o jogador conhece o jogo pela regra. Não sabe tu que eu já tirei leite de pedra, só pra te ver sorrir, pra mim não chorar. Você foi longe, me machucando, provocou a minha ira. Só que eu nasci entre o velame e a macambira.
That was cool. Let's check out another one. It keeps trying to feed me all this Irish music, which is not bad.
Orchestra Metamorphosis, Artistic Director Saša Mirković, Davor Maraus, Dario Kos, Emili Mišić. Solisti Vladimir Blagojević i Marko Stojanović.
beautiful sound. There we go. Okay. Thankfully. Oh my gosh. That was insane. This music is how I feel. Let's see. Alright. Let me turn that down a little bit. Alright. Okay. That music deserves like close listening. Okay, what's up everybody? So, who do I see? Birdie, say hi again, please. I know you're here. It'll give me a sense of connection now. That was crazy. Also, what is up with this one? Why is this one? Let's go over here. That was really frustrating this morning. And like, why? Oh, because it's locked. That's why. Okay, there we go. All right. Hi. Hello, good day. Thank you, Birdie Wooster. You know, you work really hard to put all this, a person does. Me, I'm the person. And then it's foiled by stupid software stuff, man. I kid you not, guys. I started working on just like the write-up. I actually started the write-up for the live stream yesterday and then finished it this morning, and then it just like took forever. And then when it was finally time to go live, I was even on like 20 minutes before it was supposed to go live. I was like, cool. I'll get the music going. I'll clean up the office behind me, although it doesn't even look that clean, but it was way cleaner than it was. And I don't know. I'm excited about the live stream. Let me just kind of orient to what I got to do today. I'm really excited for this live stream. Let's listen to another tune. My hair's a little bit messy. I'm going to try to tie that up a little bit better. Get the little pink kazoo. Yeah, let's listen to some more music. You know, the Romanian stuff really is so much fun. See what we got going on here. Okay, yeah. All right. So there's that. That's fun and beautiful. Let's see. What else did I have up here? That Tradfest. Yeah, where was that one? Let's listen to this. Let's see what this is all about. This might make me feel better. All right. That was very quiet. Whoa. A waltz. I should say, here, this is funny. We'll do this. I got a joke. Yeah! a whole little classical medley. Okay, I'm gonna pause these fine musicians and their fine performance. What's up, everybody? See if everything works. Yeah, it's me. It's Dallas. There's the top of my hair. Let's see. Let's get this a little bit better. It makes my forehead look a little, my hairline look a little, better someday. What if you come and I've gotten hairline replacement. Anyways, could happen. When you pull it up really tight, then it's like, oh my gosh, that's really happening. Whatever. Time wears us down. It's so great to be here. I'm excited about today's live stream. Now I gotta say I started late, which is not a good look. Thank you to the patience of everybody watching. And if you're watching this later, as a lot of people do, you don't even notice. But it's another thing. It's just a gorgeous day, and I haven't had a single moment to get outside, but I will later today. In fact, fairly soon after the live stream's over. 83 degrees, sunny. It was 60 degrees when I woke up, and I'm, just appreciate it. Appreciate what you got. It was super rainy Sunday evening. I'm living in the city of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Not Bethlehem, Israel, but Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is named after Bethlehem, Israel. And very close to here, there's a city called Nazareth, Pennsylvania, which is famous for the Martin Guitar Factory, which is a very old and esteemed guitar maker. Anyways, it's neat. Happening right now in my city is this really cool 2 weekend long. It's like 2 weekends plus the whole week in the middle. This thing called Music Fest with a K, Music Fest. And it's put on, and it bills itself as the country's largest free music festival. Now, largest under what parameters, I don't know. I don't know what else is out there, but you always got to have like I'm the most of this, I'm the best of this, but it's freaking cool. And like the last 2 years, my life was kind of back. If you're a follower of the live stream, you remember being me being outside in the desert with cactus and stuff. So I really, not only wasn't I really settled in my life, I was dealing with stuff after my father's passing, and that's really it. Anyways, it was quite unsettling. I knew at the time, but anyways, the point of the matter is I wasn't here to take advantage of it, and this time I was. And I have never really, I think, thoroughly been here. I have like a much larger friend group now here, which is great. A much larger musical community that I'm actively trying to cultivate and get all this kind of stuff going on. And a lot of my friend group is like out there festing. And they're drinking some adult beverages in these little commemorative mugs. I wish I had one. You can put anything in there that you want. You can put seltzer, water, juice, whatever. You could put a beer. A lot of people do, and you go around with these really cool mugs and they get the artwork. It's been going since like I think the early 80s, and it's really cool. And I'm really excited next year to try to not stop everything, but really plan a lot more of my life to enjoy all this stuff, because as we talked about, I remember talking about this at the beginning of the year for making plans and stuff, is like listening to music that's in your community is so important. And I was thinking of that when I saw this fabulous jazz saxophone player in town who I know. I would say we're friendly. We've hung out a little bit. Named Dan, and I was watching his band and just like, man, this is so cool. I mean, it's like a short bike ride or a 20 minute walk from my house to get there, and just how enriching it is. And he plays like John Coltrane and amongst many others. I mean, he's really fabulous. And I'm performing twice. I'm going to perform tonight with a blues band on keyboards. It's the same band leader from like 8 to 10 p.m. And then tomorrow I'll perform from 6:30 to 8 p.m. with the same band leader, but different rhythm section otherwise, different drummer, different bass player, with like a Caribbean band that's almost like a Jimmy Buffett kind of a thing. Like we're doing like calypso, and this guy's playing guitar and like some steel drums. Then we're playing like reggae covers and some Sting and the Police and just like a lot of fun stuff. And I'm doing it on keyboards. So organ and Wurlitzer patches and stuff like that. That reminds me that I need to look up. I went to those venues because I was like, I don't know what model of keyboard they're going to have in the back line. So I had to go over there physically and talk to the sound people in between sets. And that reminds me, I got to look that up before, because I need to know where to get the sounds that I want. The piano sound, the Wurlitzer sound, the organ sound, the Fender Rhodes sound. That should be enough. Those four. Really the ones that I use the most are the organ and the Wurlitzer in both of these bands. Anyways, that's really cool. I went to a bluegrass jam session last night, and I had a little trepidation because once again, I'm an accordion player in a genre which really doesn't, like, accordion's not like a normal thing there, and everybody was super cool and super kind, and I think it dipped over a little bit into a lot of other stuff that wasn't necessarily pure bluegrass. And people were singing, and it was so cool and fun. It dipped into a little bit of Irish music and stuff. And I went to this 2 months ago. I can't believe it was 2 months ago already. I forgot about it last month. It happens monthly. And it also inspired me to the fact that it's happening at, like, kind of what I consider a cool local bar. Was like, well, if they host a bluegrass jam, then maybe this is the universe telling me that I should start a gypsy jazz jam session. So I Instagram messaged the Instagram page of the bar, and I introduced myself and I'm just waiting to connect with the bar owner when she's available, but it sounds like she's amenable to the situation, and that would be really cool too, because I know of where I live, what's called the Lehigh Valley, doesn't have a gypsy jazz jam session right now, and so many of my colleagues that are like similar age to me, a little older, a little younger, whatever, that I know from Django and June and the larger Django scene, they all have set up their little fiefdoms, so to speak. Like, they have their hot club of their town. So I got to do the Google research and see if there's a hot club of Bethlehem. There might be a hot club of Bethlehem, Israel. I would be surprised if there wasn't, actually, but because I know there's definitely a lot of Israelis that play or gypsy jazz music is really popular there, and there's tons of amazing Israeli swing and jazz musicians and stuff. So anyways, the name isn't that important. You could call it this, that, the other thing. But in addition to that, then they set up like a little jam session, and then they seem to always eventually organize a little festival. It's just I've been doing gypsy jazz for 15 years now, something like that. It might be that. And I have never done anything like that for various reasons. One of them is that I just keep moving around. And the other one is that if I'm living in Philly, there already is a hot club of Philly, and there's another hot club there and something else. If I'm in New York City, you got all those hot clubs. In New Orleans, there's multiple things. So I've never felt like the need to do any of that kind of stuff. Anyway, Birdie's asking what kind of music is played at the music fest. Dude, everything, man. Everything is played. Third Eye Blind played. T.I. is playing. Who's the other major artists? They had that comedian. You should pull it up, Birdie, on your side. It's called Music Fest Bethlehem. That should get you the Google thing. In fact, I could do it here. Why not? It's fun, and it is really cool. It's really, really cool. And you walk around, and it's kind of like I've heard, that the okay, so from the 31st of July, really it starts the night before, and it goes through the end of next weekend, and all week. And like I said, I have a gig tonight, I have a gig tomorrow night. So the major names are, let's see if we get the major names here. Not really. It's taking us to kind of let's see what the lineup is. That's the schedule. The big, I think this is the big, so they do have the biggest artists you have to pay for. So Weird Al is playing tonight at 6, and of course I'm booked at 8, so I'm not going to be able to make his show, and that's okay. I mean, I really respect him. I'm not historically a huge Weird Al fan. I really went through this whole thing because when it was announced at the beginning of the year, I was like, should I try to interview him on the live stream? And everybody out there watching is probably going to go, yes, you should have. Why did you say that? And I thought, well, I know what I could talk to him about. I could talk to him about a lot of things, but Weird Al's tonight. Thank you, 44 Architecture. Are you going? He's tonight at 6, and I play at 8. So I could have caught an hour. In fact, if I had tickets to that, I would have told this guy who hired me for the 8 o'clock band that I can't do it or whatever. But I didn't, mostly because I'm not genuinely a Weird Al fan, of his music. My sister had one of his albums when I was really little, and it was my first. Anyways, we don't need to hear my Weird Al story. I really I totally love what he does, but I'm not a fan of it. And I felt like at this point, I kind of still only want to do things that I like genuinely am interested in. And it's not that I'm not interested in Weird Al, and there's like a ton of questions I could have for the guy. But as far as like genuinely being a fan and like of his music, I wouldn't be. And that's just not kind of what I want to do right now with this thing. I want to approach every sort of subject with either a relationship that already exists, and therefore I know this person, a musician, and that, you know how in life, like when you know somebody, then you just take a sort of a different interest in what they're doing, you know, and usually it's for the positive, right? Like, so it's like that doesn't exist. And then just independently, the kind of music that he makes is not the kind of music that I put on for pleasure. And that's it. There's no, I have any, the only other judgments I have about Weird Al is I think he's amazing. Like he's such a creative, like dynamo and stuff. And like everybody says, he seems like a really nice guy. All that sort of stuff. So anyways, that's when the artists, you guys can't see the whole, we got T.I. and DaBaby, Bailey Zimmerman, who I guess is a big, country star view. Anyways, I'm not trying to promote this festival, but that's just the largest things. And then I'll show you, like, let's see. So we could just go, so let's see if I could just scroll here. So this is the first night. This is all the bands. So this is a famous salsa band. I'm just not even going to go. So then Friday, and there's like stages. There's 2 areas of town, and one has like a bunch of tents. And it's, I guess because of like the German culture that was here, they call them Platz, P-L-A-T-Z. And early on, it was more of like an arts and folk music festival, I think, and some classical music. And then it seems to me, I didn't grow up here and I haven't really talked to anybody authoritatively about it, but it seems like it's just moved to more popular interests. You know, you got to go where what the people want, what the people listen to. So there is like a jazz and cabaret stage, and then there's a Plaza Tropical that, you know, has a lot of like Latin Caribbean musics and stuff. Anyways, I'm just gonna like scroll. So this is all just the Friday, all the bands Friday, day to night, and that's just last Friday. Now this is Saturday. These are all the bands on Saturday. Scrolling. Not even done with Saturday yet. This is all the music happening all throughout the day for free. All of that is for free. It's all for free. It's incredible. This is all Sunday. For free. You know what? Maybe the big headliners there, but they only, as far as I know, they only are performing at night, and it's like each night gets one like major act. John Mulaney, the comedian, was one that like some friends of mine went to. Anyway, this is still that. So, and then. So today's Tuesday. So this happened also Monday, and today it's been going on. I'm playing this amazing violinist that I met who was at the Bluegrass. Her band is playing before mine. So I'm going to ride my bike with my accordion on my backpack accordion on my back, because even though I'm mostly on keyboards, the band leader wants me on accordion for a couple tunes. So I'm bringing that. I'm going to try to catch her band's 1 hour set and then ride my bike over, which I should be able to do in under like 15 minutes over, as long as it's not raining, I'll be good. Over to my gig and get there by sound check time. And then what? And then I'll be good. But anyways, it's going to be fun. It's a really cool thing going on here. So let's see. So let's go back to Dallas Big. All right. So cool. 44 architecture is going. That's so cool. I'm so happy that you're going. On today's live stream, if you're expecting Alex Meixner, I wouldn't blame you for going, what the heck's going on? He's not going to be on the stream, not because he's not going to be on the stream, but because in some sort of like, you know, cluster think mistake, I thought that he was on for this Tuesday, and I just fast tracked the writing of all the copy, the creation of the email, the sending of the email. And then yesterday morning, I texted Alex. I was like, hey, dude, like, you know, just saying a couple things about how you know, see you tomorrow. And he goes, I thought it was next week. And I'm like, skirt, like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like, and I did it. I just mixed up this Tuesday with next Tuesday. So anyway, so today we're going to have a really cool live stream, but Alex Meixner is on it. So check back next week, same day. Same time, although I'll be on time, and you'll get to see Alex Meixner give me a button accordion lesson live on the stream. This thing called a Strasser, which is a certain kind of, I think, talking to Alex on the phone. He said there's like 4. I said, well, what kind of music's usually play? He said Bavarian polka, Bavarian style German music, I believe is what he said. And all the other things, I didn't do any of the research because I thought it would be so cool if I treated this as though like you guys are getting to watch me have a real lesson with Alex, which it will be. So I'm going to ask about things that I think are generalized for all learners and people without my particular pathway to music. And then I'm going to ask specific things about people with my pathway to music, you know, that know about theory and harmony and jam sessions and all that kind of stuff. And as well as all the other questions that I can think about. I know I'm going to ask him like, who are the most badass musicians in this on this instrument, like, and he'll tell me he loves it, you know, he's gonna get excited about it, I'm sure. So, oh, look up, you know, so I'll pull up what he says and he'll tell me which video and we'll watch it, and oh, now you got to pull up this, you know. We've had him on the live stream before. He's so much fun. We had him just talking about polka genres and styles, and that should be archived. I should pull that episode over to YouTube if it's not up already. Anyways, he's a good friend. He's really the first person that I ever went to for an accordion lesson. He was selling his house in Allentown, which is the next town over. He actually grew up in this area, and he grew up going to Music Fest and playing in Music Fest. I'm sure I'll ask him about it. We'll talk about it. Anyway, so that's all next week. Today's live stream, I have a few topics to talk about. I feel a little bit more chatty today. We're starting late. Let's see. I'm going to talk about freebase stuff. I figured out what was wrong with the accordion mics on the little mini Moschino, so I'll be able to plug that in. And we're going to do freebase stuff with an emphasis on the left-hand chord shapes that I have found, where I found them, why they're so great. Just some really simple ways that I think you guys could start to play around with creativity, which is kind of like my new bent and my new opinionated thing on stuff. And I'm gonna debut a new segment that I have been teasing and talking about, and I just had this brilliant idea to kind of like cohese and coalesce it. I'm so excited. I hope it works. Fingers crossed. I call it a soft launch. And then before that, I want to read like my statement, which I really want to update. Let me see, but let me pull that up on here. And I don't think I introduced myself or the live stream. So my name's Dallas. I obviously live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, here in southeastern Pennsylvania. I play accordion, and I love it. And I also play keyboards. And at the Bluegrass Jam session last night, I was like, I have this guitar that I've been trying to learn. Maybe if I just learn a D chord and a G chord and an A chord, you know, and then maybe an A minor and the same G major, maybe I could probably just strum along here and just like learn and have fun. And so, you know, it's I don't have kids. I have a little bit of other responsibilities, you know, but it's like I feel like I don't have this sort of like kidless life career or even a career with really dependent people in my life. So I have opportunities to try a lot of new things. I'm at a period in my life where I still don't have like the amount of performing that I want, and that's okay. It's going to take me. What's up, Phil Piety? Welcome. What's up, Jack Green? Welcome, you guys. So anyway, so it's time to try stuff and explore and get in where you fit in. And by that statement, I mean, I just, at this Bluegrass Jam session, I just learned that there's this whole app for this area, this region that I live in called Lehigh Valley, the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania. Allentown is the third biggest city in Pennsylvania, and that's the city that's like right, 30 minutes away from me. And I just learned this is app that somebody made that just lists all of the Celtic music. It could be other cultural things, Celtic cultural things too, but as I understand it, it's just music. It could be more than that, but all of the like Irish jam sessions essentially, and people's gigs and all this kind of stuff, and there's stuff going on every day. Like you could do an Irish jam session like all throughout the week, especially if you're willing to drive like an hour like down to New Hope or something. I had no idea, so it's like, why not? And for me, there's so much like musicianship to practice, because I think as far as I'm starting to get a handle on, the Irish music is very melody based. There's so much more stuff happening in the melody, and this is true for most music, I think, as opposed to my strengths and stuff that's really built up and strong, which is harmony based stuff. So hearing harmonies, thinking of reharmonizing harmonies, being creative with harmonies, that sort of stuff is easy. Like it's easy for me because I've done a lot of it for a long time now, and I've put a lot of energy into it. So I can essentially sit in at these jam sessions, and within one clear, there's always some mistakes and stuff and da-da-da. So one or two times, once I kind of have heard it correctly, I have it and I can commit that form to memory. And they're not hard. It's not like this is a miracle or something. But I have that skill. And then I can do all kinds of cool stuff on top of it if I choose to. Although, usually you don't want to just go blow up the hang, especially because I'm a newbie. But even so, you're supposed to be very gentle and stuff. And anyways, but the place that I have room for improvement is my learning of melodies in the moment. And I'm like, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Ear training, this kind of, I'm calling it vernacular music, these skills, So there's so many ways to enrich. That's such a dumb word, but for me to learn, so it's really interesting. And there's a community, and you could have a beer at my local bar that's like so cool, or like whatever. It's just it's really neat. So I might be starting to get a little bit more into like Celtic or British Isles music, maybe, let's say, and on the diatonic button accordion or on the piano accordion. I mean, it seemed like it wasn't as big a deal as I thought, at least the people in this little, bluegrass jam session. Let me pull up this little thing so I say this, because this is important to me. Let's see if I can find it. I think this is it. Here we go. All right, so this is the thing that I try to read at the beginning of the live stream because it's my values that are important to me. And if you have any of these values, maybe you're feeling, you're wondering, you hearing me say these values, you're like, oh, cool, it's like somebody else out here. So this is not the totality of everything. This was written, I guess, coming up on a year ago, and I need to update it. But this live stream is pro accordion, pro musicians' rights and representation, pro workers' rights, pro union. We're pro educators' rights and representation. We're very pro LGBTQIA+. We're pro gender equality. We're pro feminist. We're pro democracy and pro political plurality. We're pro immigrant and pro immigration. We are anti-fascist. We're anti-white supremacist, anti-war, and you'll see a little bit more about that later. We're anti-genocide of the Palestinian people, and we're anti-Semitic. We're pro education and pro public funding for all that kind of stuff. One of the things I want to add is that we are pro universal healthcare for all. One of the unique, not cool things about the United States is like we're the only first world country that does not have universal healthcare for all, and we certainly can afford it. We got the money. Okay, so that's my little statement of values and the things that are important to me. That being said, I want to debut the next thing, which is really cool. So this is now going to be the news segment. So I'm launching the news segment, and I'm also launching this. Let's see, I haven't yet put this up. I'm launching this new thing, so let's see if it works here. All right, so that's that. Yeah, okay, let me bring this over here and here. Okay, so this is subject for refinement. This is my new thing that I've been working on, the functionality behind this for a long time, and the concept of what and why has just sort of subconsciously, like any creative activity, whether it be in any pursuit, the creativity just kind of happens and builds, and you arrive at this thing, you're like, oh yeah. So I've talked about this a little bit, but this is what I was originally calling the news desk. And then I had been talking on the stream and other people about how like there is like this kind of thing that's happening with the live stream, looking at accordion music from around the world in different cultures. I haven't done deep dives in a while, but it's still the same spirit. And how there is some sort of humanitarian mission to it. And my life and my personality, I am doing more activism stuff. You guys don't need to know about it on the stream, but it just means I'm being involved in my local community and using my power in this democratic system. And the power of persuasion and community and stuff, like to meet people and knock on doors and try to get candidates elected and go to city council meetings and try to get free school lunch in the public schools and show up to the school board meetings to support the measures and things that are good, things that are good to do and that I can do because I can make the time for it. I'm not spearheading any things, but I'm being part of the things that I can be part of, you know. And we learned about Pablo Casals. So I'm going to sort of read some of this, and then we're going to get into the news. So the actual news portion of it, there is a little bit of sad news, which is just news. But this is my idea, and I'll talk about it. So this is soft launch, so it still needs, I'll tell you all the stuff it needs. But I'm calling this the Pablo Casals Accordion News Desk for World Peace. I am going to email like pablocasals.com or whatever, because they probably own the rights to his name, and I probably should not be using his name here. But I'm going to email them and ask him. I'm going to tell him what I'm all about. I'm going to, you know, send him a link to this video or something, or maybe next week when it's like, when I don't have this big, like, you know, covering thing, like this big preamble to it. But Pablo Casals is a musician who is a long deceased cellist. I think we decided he passed away in the early 2000s. Was that it? I forget. Maybe it's the 90s. Anyways, he lived a very long life. He is considered, undisputed, one of the great cellists of the whole 20th century, you know, and that accounts for all the greats. In addition to having this amazing career, the reason we learned about him on the live stream is he is the subject of the very first book club that we did. It was called Pablo Casals and the Art of Interpretation, and it was really cool. And we learned about making rainbows and all of this other really cool stuff that he talked about. And it ties into things that I learned from Jack and Natalie, and things that I learned from my classical piano teacher in college, and other things, all kinds of stuff. And in addition to that, as we were learning about him, we also learned that he was a great humanitarian, and he dedicated his life, really the majority of his adult life, to being a humanitarian, and most especially being anti-war. I'm going to go ahead and read the statement that I put into the Gmail, what do you call it? Into the email that I sent out today. Because it was assisted by AI a little bit, so just know that. However, it's all my, you know, very, very developed ideas and all that stuff. So the quick tagline is that this is super fun and exciting news about accordionists just like you all around the world. So genres, artists, styles, and communities of people doing their unique thing, big and small, on accordion. The accordion is what unites us. After more than 3 years of this live stream, Birdie, do you think it's more than 4 at this point? I can't even remember. After more than 3 years of this live stream and years of my life watching how music, culture, teaching, and public life all meet, I'm very happy to announce the soft launch of this Pablo Casals Accordion News Desk for World Peace. It feels like the unexpected coming together of many interests and activities that have shaped both this program and my life. Yeah, Birdie says he thinks about 4. Thanks so much, Birdie, because Birdie's been here since the beginning. And he's here almost just about every single stream. Pablo Casals, like I said, Pablo Casals was the subject of our first book club when this live stream was young. We came to know him not only as a great musician, but also as a humanitarian and anti-war advocate who placed music in the service of peace, justice, and freedom. And he really did. He was very involved with the United Nations. He aided refugees and victims of war. He appeared at the United Nations 3 times, and he was a big deal. He was like Yo-Yo Ma. In 1971, he premiered his Hymn to the United Nations, which is a gorgeous composition that he ended up playing around the world and stuff. And he received the United Nations Peace Medal. Casals was willing to put his career at risk for those convictions. He refused to perform in Soviet Russia. He refused to perform in Hitler's Germany, and in 1946 withdrew from Allied stages in protest of their tolerance of the fascist and horrible dictator of Spain, his home country, Franco. And he entered a long musical silence because of that. He even for a while refused to perform in the United States, like this is one of the allies, because of that. I don't know the whole story, but he eventually did. But it was a form of protest, and that's a big deal. I mean, if you're the biggest cellist, you know, and orchestra stuff was so much huger than it is today. This is my opinion, but in my opinion, history has confirmed both his stature as one of the great cellists of the 20th century and the enduring moral force of the values that he defended so steadfastly. At a time when war and bombing continue to harm innocent people right now, including accordion players just like you and me, we honor Pablo Casals by looking at his example of courage, humanity, and artistic responsibility. This is a true soft launch today, beginning with a limited set of sources and functionality. I intend to broaden it little by little, especially towards regions living through conflict, controversy, humanitarian need, or underrepresentation in conventional world news coverage. Through accordion news, we can celebrate remarkable work happening around the world while encountering distant places as communities of real people, musicians who deserve dignity, safety, and the opportunity to flourish. The news desk is deliberately joyful. Like you're gonna see, like this is all heavy, but this is like the wrapper around it. Like it's so cool. Some of the things I'm gonna show you guys are so cool, and I'm excited. Like I can't. This is so fun. So anyway, so the news desk is deliberately joyful, but it also has a civic purpose. I hope to use our shared love of the accordion to win hearts and minds toward humanitarianism. I really do. Living in a Western democracy, this is my soapbox, so feel free to tune out or turn down, but this is my soapbox. Living in a Western democracy means that we are entrusted with democratic agency and political power. I think we can agree this idea of the standard of living and the idea that we have a democracy, theoretically or actually, in to whatever respect that we actually do, is an anomaly for human history. This opportunity that we have to sway and hold power over the way that we live and work together. And I'm down with Howard Zinn and the realities of the limitations of our democracy. However, we still have it. We do still have it. So anyways, living in a Western democracy means that we are entrusted with democratic agency and political power. I understand that one of the core promises of democratic institutions is that citizens actually use that agency. My persuasion through this live stream and with this news desk, Pablo Casals news desk, Global Accordion News Desk for World Peace, is that we should use it. We should use our political power and actions, our decision to vote and what to vote and who to vote on. And if you want to go further than that and get more involved, then it's really even more amazing. But we should move it toward public action, toward human dignity, humanitarian care, and away from the worst consequences of war, famine, displacement, and preventable suffering, right? Nothing to do with party lines or political positions, just these things. And they go beyond all that, You can vote that way. You can be anti-war and be anything else that you want to. It's your life. You can make it up that way. That does not require the agreement on every political question. It begins with recognizing people elsewhere as fully human and fundamentally like us. And this is not to assume that my wonderful audience out there watching does. However, the whole angle here is just to encourage even more humanitarianism. We can always do whatever we're doing. You can always do a little bit more. You can always go a little bit further. For the first stream, I have this automatic ingestion thing happening from news sources. It's very South American centric and seems to have a ton of Vallenato sources right now. I'm really excited to get sources from what's called the Levant areas. We might call that like the Middle East. So Syria, Jordan, Israel, Iran, Palestine, and more, Lebanon, where there are people like you and me playing accordion who are, who all of those people deserve humanitarian conditions, the ending of war, the ending of suffering, medical care and all that sort of stuff, and this is what we should be doing, with our lives, and this is what I choose to do, and a model for this that I'm saying, it's not just me. I'm linked arm in arm with this man, with Pablo Casals, because this is how he lived his life. And if such a great cellist, can be such a great master of world music, can be principled and risk going a little bit out on the limb and say, hey, this is important, so can I, and so can we all. So this is it. Now, that's the wrapper around it. That's what I'm going to try to say, like not this whole spiel every Tuesday, but that's the deal. So that being said, I've introduced this thing. Let's see if it works now. I love that picture of him too. Apparently it's public domain from the Library of Congress. So the other thing, so music and cultural attention help us as accordionists recognize one another across borders. In democracies, political agency gives us both the power and the responsibility. Remember elementary and middle and high schools, right? It gives us the power and the responsibility to direct public decisions toward human dignity, humanitarianism, and peace. And we're frankly living in a moment of just bombing of a lot of innocent people, and it's horrible. Okay, all right. So anyway. So we're gonna cover the news. We're gonna cover the news. Most of the news is not gonna be political at all. But the news desk pulled up the very first Pablo Casals news desk. The first article is this one, which is really interesting and has to have my political angle on it. So I don't know, for anybody out there following the Colombian presidential election, there was a more right-wing candidate and there was a more socialist candidate. And it was a very, very close election. And the socialist candidate lost and the more right-wing candidate won. And in my opinion, the humanitarianism is on the socialist side of that. And that's what the Pablo Casals news desk cares about. This is interesting. This is related to accordion. And I swear that they're not all going to be like this. Most of them, I think there aren't any others that actually have political parts to it. Let's see. Hang on. I need to make this smaller. Can I? Dang it. I asked it to make this smaller. Okay, wait. So, this article, our first article here, is about that, and it's about this famous vallenato singer from Colombia named Ivan Villazon. And he took a tune by the famous composer Rafael Escalona, and he dedicated these verses to the incoming president. That's all about that. There is a video here. So, let's check it out.
Bueno, vamos a un vallenatico sabroso porque ya.
This would be a counterexample from the news desk. However, I think it's interesting.
Rafael Escalona lo grabé hace muchos años con el maestro Concha Molina. Se llama La Casa en el Aire. Con mucho gusto para todos. No se vayan a preocupar que nosotros nos vamos a ir todavía de aquí.
I should probably put the translation on. Hang on. Can I turn it on? It's like playing in this inline. Auto translate to English. Let's see. Why don't I see English? That's weird. Is it already B, C, D? Why is English not in this list? Oh, okay, that's weird. Is it already doing that? No, it's not. Pretty slamming. Nice. Big long accordion solo. Yeah, slamming that time field.
Voy a hacerte una casa en el aire, solamente para que vivas tú. Voy a hacerte una casa en el aire.
All right. We got 9 other news stories to go. We're gonna get to those. Just kind of interesting. Now, none of these other ones have really political messages. And this is the soft launch. So here's the next article. I really thought that I was gonna be able to make it a little smaller, but I guess it misunderstood. Okay. So our next news article is I'm gonna read the English translation. The Versibalistas. Where song and poetry meet in art that resists literal meaning. So, the source is Infobe Cultura, And where in the world is this? This is happening in Buenos Aires, Argentina, at the Cualquier Lado Club de Artes. Very cool. So who is this about? This is about this band, the Versibalistas, which is these musicians, Rolando, Soledad, Vicente, Edgardo, pardon me, Francisco, and Belen Landry. And this is happening in 4 days. So if you're in Buenos Aires, maybe you want to check this out, or if you're headed there, you can check it out. So the Versibalistas is a Buenos Aires ensemble combining song, poetry, theater, guitar, cello, flute, percussion, and the bandoneon, which is what's important to us. Francisco Martinez's bandoneon. Its name is a neologism, a newly coined word, inspired by funambulistas, the Spanish word for tightrope walkers. So they have a gig, a performance. The bandoneon gives this unusual meeting of poetry and stage song a direct accordion family voice. So it's like a big mixture of a bunch of stuff. And I think play the exact live. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Let me go over here. So I do have a video to play. I hope it plays. I got to switch this over. Again, this is the soft launch, guys. I hope I didn't soapbox everybody out of the out of interest here. I'm not trying to teach you school. All right.
Esta es la canción del bongo. Aquí el que más fino sea, responde, si llamo yo. Unos dicen ahora mismo, otros dicen, allá voy. Pero mi repique bronco, pero mi profunda voz, convoca al negro y al blanco, que bailan al mismo son. Gueripardos o almiprietos, más de sangre que de sol, pues quien por fuera no es noche, por dentro ya oscureció. Aquí el que más fino sea, responde, si llamo yo. En esta tierra mulata de africano y español, Santa Bárbara de un lado, del otro lado Changó, siempre falta algún abuelo cuando no sobra algún don. Y hay títulos de Castilla con parientes en Bondó. Vale más callarse amigos y no menear la cuestión.
I'm going to pause there because we're going to try to get to some other stuff, and I don't think that this performance has bandoneon because I think the bandoneon player is Ban. I should say Ban. I always say Ban. Bandoneon is special guest on that performance that's coming up in 4 days. So this weekend. Okay, let's move. Hard to get reception by the lake. Welcome, Euro Cafe duo. Alrighty, so we're gonna move forward. So next on now. All right, so part of my you guys can't see it. I gotta switch this. There's more functionality. So I'm gonna add way more sources, like I was saying, all over the world. Eventually, within, if I can do it. I don't know if there's a limit to what I'll be able to do, but representing the entire world will definitely be possible. I'm not sure like at what point the amount of sources gets insane, but it just seems cool to like know all these little performances. Okay, so here we go. So now we got I know a future, and my British Isles, my Scottish and Irish watchers will appreciate this, that I cannot pronounce this, and I realize that, and I realize how I mess up all these languages that aren't English, and I said, okay, I need a feature where I get the phonetic spelling, and it's not launched yet. So by next week I should have phonetic spelling for all this sort of stuff. So I'm not going to pronounce this Celtic name, I think. Is it Gaelic? Anyways, but it's a festival in Belfast. So where in the world is it? It's in Belfast, Northern Ireland, at the opening declaration at this Belfast City Hall. Who is it? It's the Comhaltas, local traditional musicians, dancers, and community partners. Sunday, August 2nd, which was last Sunday, through Sunday, August 9th. So it's a week long. It's Ireland's national traditional music festival and the world's largest celebration of Irish traditional culture. Isn't that cool? Did you know that that's happening right now in Belfast, Ireland? It's going to include a whole bunch of really awesome accordion players. You know it. So that's really cool. And it's happening in Belfast for the first time, with all Ireland competitions, street and pub sessions, and stage concerts. More than 800,000 visitors are expected in Belfast for this. This is a landmark gathering for an accordion-rich traditional music culture, a national festival arriving in the city of Belfast for the very first time and turning the city into a shared public space. I hope that this is the correct video.
Celebrate Belfast. Celebrate together. Feel that beat, that pull, that call. To Belfast, a city where music flows naturally through the streets and history dances to the rhythm in the air. In 2026, we invite you to be part of something extraordinary.
I'm getting goosebumps.
The 75th Fla Cúil na HÉireann, right here in Belfast Fair City, for the very first time. Join us as we celebrate the rich tapestry of our culture. A celebration that transcends all borders and brings together local, national and international communities. Whether you're a seasoned musician or taking your first steps into the world of song and dance. From the heartwarming melodies of the piper to the lively rhythms of our drums, every note tells a story. Every step forges a connection. This is more than a festival. It's a gathering of hearts. We long awaited this. We're thrilled to open our arms and welcome everyone to our city.
How cool.
Together, let's make history. Celebrate Belfast. Celebrate together.
Yeah, how cool. Okay, so Fli Kulnaha, I forgot. It was something like that. I need to work on that. Anyway, and my aunt just messaged me and said that my great-grandmother is from Belfast, Ireland. How cool. Thank you. Thanks, aunt. How neat. Okay, so that's cool to know that that's going on, accordionists, right? And so I just want to say right now, the news sources are very heavily weighted towards the West, towards Europe, towards North America and South America. And that's just by design, because I had to start somewhere and get this thing tested. So we're going to get Africa and the Middle East and Asia and Australia and Russia and all that kind of stuff. It's all going to come in eventually. And India and South Asia and all that kind of stuff. East Asia. Anyway, so here's our next news story. We got 6 more to go. Oh geez, the live stream might need to turn into a 3-hour live stream or something. Anyway, I'm loving this. I've been dreaming of this because I think this is so cool. It's like inspiring. All right, so this article is about Anibal Troilo. I think that's how you say his name. He's considered like a sort of the Louis Armstrong, I think, of tango and especially bandoneon. A composer, band leader, bandoneon player, just a total icon. And the center that is for him. So let's see. The source is from Infobe Cultura. It's happening in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and at the Centro Cultural Anibal Troilo in Palermo, Buenos Aires. So it's about this cultural center. And what's going on is that they're offering a free multidisciplinary room for they're opening a new sala, like a new room sala, like a room, like a new wing. It's not a wing, but it's a new room, and it's a multidisciplinary room. So this room is going to have tango, visual art, dance, circus, acoustic music, seminars, and education, and that's really cool. A public cultural program is and why is it important? Oh, and Orquesta del Plata and Duo Gio Lopez are going to headline this. Let's see what the video is. Is this going to be... Okay, all right. So cool. Okay, so we get to see one of the bands. Wow, look at the bass player. How iconic. What a look. Okay, so let's listen to a little bit of one of the bands that's going to be opening here at this Anibal Troilo, Cultural Center in Buenos Aires. All right, let's keep it moving. That was beautiful, but I should really start earlier. Okay, so apparently a lot of Argentinian sources. Sorry about that, guys, but this is what we got. So, where in the world is this happening? Also in Buenos Aires at the Auditorio Nacional del Palacio Libertad. And it will also be streamed online. It's the Orquesta Nacional de Música Argentina, Juan de Dios Filiberto, conducted by Nicolas Agulo, and featuring music by the great Carlos Gardel, who is kind of considered, maybe he's the Louis Armstrong of tango music. He is a national treasure in Argentina, so I understand. Also, Atahualpa Yupanqui. I'm sure I just destroyed the pronunciation of that. I apologize. I think it's I'll work on that. And Astor Piazzolla. Have you ever heard of him? That's tomorrow night, right? So I like the idea that like we're gonna find out about what's going on in the world, either that just happened in the last week or that's gonna come up in the next week. I think it makes me feel connected as an accordionist to the world of accordion and people. And the National Orchestra will give a free 15-work tribute concert. Piazzolla's Libertango and Decarissimo will open the program, followed by major songs and instrumental works. How cool. Okay, next. Now, here's some other names that I cannot pronounce. Pardon me. This is a news article that was published about a week ago on July 30th. It's happening in Sweden. 700 nearly 700 accordions, right? So they care for Haghold's hidden and forgotten cultural treasure. Nearly 700 accordions were saved. So who's this about? This is about Ingrid Gustafsson, who I assume is the person that we're seeing on the right, and Carl Ivar Carlson, who I assume is the person on the left as they're facing us, carrying on the collection founded by Ingrid's uncle Stig Svensson. And it's not really happening anytime soon. It just is happening. So they care for one of Sweden's largest accordion collections, roughly 650 to 700 instruments, dating from about 1830 to 1950. We have that going on. We have our own Ingrid and Carl Ivar with Helmy Harrington up in the Great Lakes area. We have Paul Ramuni with the Connecticut Accordion Museum. We have our local things, so we've got our own version of that, of these wonderful historians and collectors, preservationists, I might say. So anyway, the AI said this. I'm kind of teaching the AI to interpret it, to help me out here. This is a musical stewardship at a remarkable scale. Preserving hundreds of instruments keeps craft, sound, and community memory available to future players, even when the work happens far from a major institution. So very cool to know that that's happening in Sweden, right? A few more news articles. So this is fun. So this is about vallenato music. So we're in the city of Cartagena, Colombia, and it's a radio station. So if you love vallenato, you probably know about, and you live in Cartagena, you probably definitely know about La Reina 95.5 FM. They're celebrating 20 years on the air and being the voice of vallenato in Cartagena, which is just so cool and so fun. Think of your most favorite accordion music, and if the city you lived in had a radio station that's all that played, how cool would that be? La Reina 95.5 is celebrating 20 years as a Cartagena radio station devoted to vallenato, the Colombian genre, centered on accordion, caja, and huaracha. And that's that. Okay, we got a few more. So here, okay, this one's really fun, guys. When I saw this, I was like, News Desk is so cool. So I'm gonna tell you what is going on. So this is a musician from Finland. So this is, dude, again, I really tried to get the pronunciation thing happening. I'm gonna call this person Ilari, and that's as far as I'm gonna say, and that's probably even wrong. But he's a Finnish singer, guitarist, bassist, and mostly instrumentalist, known as Tango Princey, meaning the tango prince, the prince of tango, right? So this is happening in Finland, is based in Vantaa. Okay, all right, so he's based in the city of Vantaa in Finland. And what is going on here is that this musician, this is so cool. So he's going to perform Son Vireles, in 3 totally different arrangements. So what he decided to do was record the same song in 3 different versions, and not all 3 versions have accordion, and that's okay. It's just a really cool idea. The tango one definitely has some accordion, I'm pretty sure. I remember listening to a little bit of that. So 3 different for his fans, and then he let his fans vote on on the best version, on their favorite version, and I'm not exactly sure what happened after that, but it's so cool. So we have 3 music videos that I think the news desk prepared for us here, right here. So apparently the acoustic one is the one that I think the one that we're gonna watch first. I believe this one, the acoustic version, is the one that won, and it doesn't have what do you call it, accordion in it, at least as far as I listen to. We'll listen to a little bit. But the tango version does have accordion. It's just such a fun, cool, creative idea. So let's check these out. Which one would you vote for? There was actually a description, sorry to interrupt. There was a description before that I wish it had held, where it included a description that Finnish tango music is like sort of its own thing. It's its own like little fork or whatever, and it's very, very popular in Finland, and I think in a lot of other Northern European countries, according to the research.
Et ehdit tänäänkään mua katsomaan. Sul on kiire, niin kiire. On pakko painaa pitkää päivää taas. On kiire, kun on kiire, niin kiire. Mut mä tiedän, joskus tääkin helpottaa. Sen tiedän, mä sen tiedän. Ja siksi jaksan vielä odottaa. Tän siedän.
We gotta get to the chorus.
Sen tiedän, kun on tuupumassa takan painoon, sun vierelläs mä oon. Voit luottaa muhun, tää on aito, ja käpertyy mun kainaloon.
Alright, now, let's check out the tango version. It should... Dang it. Okay, wait. Wait. All right, wait, hang on, guys. It's not gonna load in there. So this is the soft launch. Says Makar, what's up? Saying hi. Thanks for the reminder about the accordion collector in Superior, Wisconsin. Yes, the Harrington Center for the Arts, I believe, is the technical name on Google Maps, which features the accordions of the world. I forget what it's called. Anyways. It is a thing, man. There's nothing quite like it. I haven't been to Paul Ramuni's museum, and that's definitely something I should do soon. I feel like I'm taking it for granted because it's so close and I have so much access to it. You know how like you only go to like the cool tourist thing? Like if you live in New York, you're only ever gonna go to the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty when out of town friends come or whatever. You know, you're just not gonna do it. So it's like that. Anyways, okie doke. So let me switch this over to the other one because we gotta quickly listen to the tango version and then the rock version. Sounds like pretty MIDI.
Et ehdi tänäänkään mua katsomaan. On kiire, sul on kiire, niin kiire. On pakko painaa pitkää päivää taas. On kiire, kun on kiire, niin kiire.
I like that.
Mä tiedän, joskus tääkin helpottaa. Sen tiedän, mä sen tiedän. Ja siksi jaksan vielä odottaa. Tän siedän. Mä tän siedän, sen tiedän. Kun on tuupumassa taakan painoon, sun vierelläs mä oon. Voit luottaa muhun, tää on aito ja käpertyy mun kainaloon. Vaik illallinen.
Okay, all right. So now we'll check out. So that's that version. Maybe the idea of it I like a little bit more than I like the actual music, but like it's still so cool. It's so neat. It sparks joy. It brings me creativity. I'm not sure I would, no effects to the Tango Prince might not be my thing, but it's a really fun idea. Yeah.
Et ehdi tänäänkään mua katsomaan. On kiire, sul on kiire, niin kiire. On pakko painaa.
All right. We've heard it in 3 different genres. Very cool Tango Prince. Okay, let's get back. I can't, dude. I'm like about to end the live stream, and all I've done is this. It could be, and I can't even go late today because I got to get ready for the show, and that's fine. My hair is disgusting. I have to wash it. It might be that this is all we do today, or most of what we do, and that's okay. The idea for the left-hand freebase stuff is very cool and very portable to any show. It won't be next week. If I don't get to some of it today, even if I get to some of it today, I wanted to kind of spend at least an hour on it. It's very cool and applies to lots of different stuff. Anyways, all right. That's okay. That's why it's the soft launch. Okay, now, here is actually a sad story. And I was texting with Kayla today, who is... first of all, she's a friend. Second of all, she's a wonderful accordionist. Third of all, she is the organizer and producer, really the owner of Cinema USA. Not Cinema France, but she organizes and produces and does the whole thing to bring them over and all that sort of stuff. And it is her... it is really one of her good works for the accordion community. And I think only people that go there really get that it's an incredible labor of belief in their technique, and I am the beneficiary of her good works. So thank you very much, Kayla, for that. Anyways, she mentioned this news article to me, and I only know about this. It is a very sad story, and I don't even know the details yet. Unfortunately, so I only know the details because Accordion News Desk brought this to my attention. Otherwise I wouldn't, I guess, because I'm not really on social media that much. It makes me feel icky, especially Facebook. But Instagram too, I don't have a good algorithm, and it just feels like a fire hose of stuff I don't care about. Like people playing music I don't care about with a horse mask on, riding some sort of weird contraption down the European street. That's not what I'm looking for. Anyways, that's what it keeps feeding me. So this is a sad story of the passing of Glenn Hansard. It's I don't know, it's a little too real, but let's... My understanding is that he was just beloved, really, really beloved. So I'm not sure. Okay, I was wondering how he passed, and I'm glad that it wasn't like nefarious. I mean, it's very, very sad that he did pass, that anybody passes, and it's sad that I'm talking about it, but it seems to be a major sort of thing. It seems like he was really beloved, and even Kayla knew about it. She mentioned it, and I said, well, how did you know about that? Because I just found out, and through this Il Post, which is an Italian online magazine. So I was really confused when I first clicked through the link to read this Italian news article about an Irish musician. I was like, was this guy in Italy? And I don't think he was. So, well, no, he wasn't. So his name is Glenn Hansard, and I personally was not already familiar with his, I didn't know him already of him through the internet, but Glenn Hansard is an Oscar-winning Irish singer, songwriter, actor, and frontman of a band called The Frames, and a member of the Swell season, whatever that is, I don't know right now. Unfortunately, on July 28th, which is last week, there was a fatal crash early Wednesday. Glenn Hansard played the unreleased song Tried and Failed at a traditional pub session only hours before he had a tragic motorcycle crash. And it seems like clicking through and talking to Kayla and all the other social media I've seen that he's very much being mourned. He was very beloved. He seemed like he was a really amazing man. And maybe some of my viewers or people, I know I have people in that community that I communicate with now and then, so maybe they're gonna tell me a little bit more about him. Let's see, something just came in. Okay, so this is my aunt messaging me here. As a young man, he was also in the movie called The Commitments, which she highly recommends to me. So he was in films that people know. I don't think I want to watch his final performance at a pub. I think that's a little bit too sad. I think I'm gonna leave it here because I'm starting to feel a little weird, a little sad about it. A guy I didn't even know, but I do think that we should look at a different video of him playing. And I guess I apologize if this is triggering for anybody out there. Maybe I should have said that beforehand. Anyways, I mean to honor him and to be enriched by the fact that I know about him, even though it's sadly too late. Okay, so here he is. But okay, so he must have been like really known in Italy because this first video on this really cool, what do you call it? This post on this website, ilpost.it, is from him busking in Nota Sicily.
Hello. When you're kneeling to the hour and you're doubting your giver power, and when you're ready for her mercy and you're worthy, it will come. When you're sleeping round the back door, she's waiting for you no more. And when you're ready for her mercy and you're worthy, it will come.
All right, we'll end it there. And isn't, man, it's hitting me a little. Let's watch this one with Bono. That's just so intimate. It's very sad. I think Kayla told me that his remembrance is happening today. Literally today. Might be happening right Rest in peace. Yeah, and sorry if that was kind of heavy for anybody. Let me switch back over to the news desk. Here we go. Make you small news desk. News of the world. Yeah. How sad. Okay. We're on to the last story of the news desk. So this one's pretty cool. So as accordionists out there, I think that one like little thing that Birdie said it's okay that I've spent the whole stream just doing the news desk segment so far. Thank you, Birdie. And that he likes it. I'm gonna figure out how I can do all things, but my dream to go meta is to have like some really good segments here. My other dream also is to, and it's more of a dream, it's less of a dream than an actual goal, is to launch a podcast that's going to be primarily interview based. And I have these ideas for like roundtable discussions. I'll tell you guys one idea that I actually just emailed. So this is a complete aside, but for your consideration, a trend that I have noticed for years now, because it became sort of like, I was like, another one, is the pondering the question, what's with all of my accordion students being engineers? Now, Bertie, I don't know if you're an engineer or not. I don't know if that's your talent. I don't think that's your career. So not everybody, but the amount of people that come to me for accordion lessons, I think because of the accordion, and I also suspect because of my approach, because of somehow the way I approach it, they stick with me. This goes to you, Alberto, and everybody out there. The amount of engineers that are my accordion students or have come through or whatever is wild. I mentioned to somebody else, I texted, I was like, now it's to the point where if anybody knows this reference of the secret word of the day or whatever from Pee-wee's Playhouse, there's like a moment where like somebody says a word and they all freak out and lose their minds. Of joy. Oh my gosh. Like when somebody says some sort of word and they go, you said the secret word, and then Conky prints out the secret word. I think that's how, I haven't watched it in a long time, but anyways, that's how I feel inside. And this just happened with another, like I do this free 15-minute phone call. In fact, if you're out there and you might want to study with me, or even if you just have any questions about learning, or you just want to say hi for 15 minutes or something, no hate mail or anything. Go away if you want to do that. I don't think that's a joke, but I have this free 15-minute phone call thing, and my calendar is open, and you just pick it, and it's really easy. And then we connect and talk. And usually it's for people who are considering lessons with me, but they don't know me yet. So it helps. It helps with that sort of, should we, am I the right teacher for you? Are you the right student for me? And not that I ever reject anybody, but it's like, really should know if I can help you with how you want to be helped, right? Anyways, but I also offer it for just like obviously I don't want my calendar, like it really is designed to help people sign up for stuff, but it's another way to get to know me, because like not knowing it anyways, just this guy a wonderful man, Al, that I met, and we talked for way longer than 15 minutes, but he's a freaking engineer. I was like, it won't stop, and I have no problems with it. I just am totally amused by the fact that this is the case. So one idea for a podcast episode, which I'm definitely going to try to do, is contact everybody I know that's taken lessons, Lou and John and Al and Alberto and dude, so many, and say, hey, can we schedule a time when we can all hop on Zoom together? We'll record this as a podcast,